Hey. Why going? What y'all deal with?
People still waiting, while the folks still hating. It's a new generation.
Yo, man, Cincinnati has had its fair share of drama, right? This whole year, Cincinnati has had a whole lot of stuff going on. But I can tell you this is definitely up there with maybe even the brawl, because it definitely involves politicians.
Uh-oh!
I was hesitant about even really kind of touching on this whole thing because I wanted to sit back for a day or two to kind of see what I even felt about it. You know what I'm saying? There was a whole lot of opinions online, as it always is. But for this one, you know, I kind of wanted to see, like, let me do a little bit of due diligence and just kind of see what I think about it. What am I talking about? Well, city councilman candidate Kevin Farmer.
I came up through the foster care system. When I turned 18 and aged out, I started fighting and rebelling against a system I couldn't change. I have changed. Now, I'm stepping up as a leader. From the community for my hood, we deserve more than just to survive, but to be represented. Hell yeah, let's flip the NATI for our communities and for our hoods. I am Kevin Farmer for Cincinnati City Council.
An Ohio congressional candidate, Rosemary Ogelsby Henry, a CEO of a nonprofit. She does work with Rosemary's Baby. She also has been involved with a lot of different community improvement projects.
We serve teen moms and dads between the ages of 9 and 19 years old. I started Rosemary's Baby's company because I was a teen mom. And when my daughter hit about 20 years old and I went back to school, I discovered that there still were no programs available that supported the teen who had a child. There was parenting education, there was breastfeeding programs, but there were no resources and organizations that taught life skills. And I just felt that there was a need to fill this gap.
They're both Black Republicans, and they've been in the spotlight recently, not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? For people who are campaigning, this is probably not a good thing. Okay, you don't want this type of attention. On September 28th, Rosemary was arrested for pointing a gun at Kevin Farmer during the argument. They were in her apartment building in the bedroom in Westwood, and he took her car keys and she pointed a gun at him allegedly.
Now at 5, a primary candidate for Ohio's 1st District Congressional seat is behind bars tonight, accused of pointing a gun at a man who is running for Cincinnati City Council.
Rosemary Ogelsby Henry is a Republican trying to unseat Democrat Greg Landsman for Ohio's 1st Congressional District seat. Kevin Farmer is a Republican running for Cincinnati City Council. Now, according to Ogelsby Henry's family, the two were friends and were not romantically involved. Ogelsby Henry says Farmer stole the keys to her truck and wouldn't leave her house. Rosemary Ogelsby Henry pled not guilty to a misdemeanor charge of aggravated menacing. Court records indicate that she aimed a gun at Kevin Farmer Sunday during an argument in the bedroom of her Westwood home, and Farmer said, quote, "Shoot me."
Oglesby Henry's attorney says it never happened.
This guy's been victimizing her for a long time. She's been trying to get away from him. He got wind of it, and he did this to try to prevent it.
Oglesby's campaign consultant points to this video from 2023 that shows a man who appears to be Farmer getting violent with Oglesby. He is apparently angry because he wants her car keys, which is allegedly what happened this past weekend.
Farmer was accused of striking Oglesby Henry in July and charged with domestic violence and assault, but those counts were dropped when Oglesby Henry did not want Farmer prosecuted. According to a family, she, quote, didn't want to see another black man locked up.
So, it comes down to this. Was she actually the aggressor, or was this a situation of abuse and, she just didn't want to say anything? We really don't know. There seems to be a lot of layers to this whole thing. But I can tell you this, just looking into bruh, right? It's making me have to kind of question how I normally would kind of come at something like this, which would be, to point out the fact that, the woman always is just alleged to be the victim, period. Like, you know what I'm saying? The woman is always put in the place of the victim, and you know what I'm saying? A lot of the time, if the man is the one, you know, that didn't do anything, then, you know, there's nobody to come to his defense. So that's usually how I would come at a situation like this. But I'm kind of having to look at this differently just because of how he represents himself. In this case, I feel like he is going out his way to use this as an opportunity to kind of push a wedge between, you know, black men and black women. Already we have so much of a battle going on between black men and black women. It's one of those things that is one of the most prominent things that we're facing in our communities. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, side by side only with black on black violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the thing that is making our families be torn apart. It's the thing, you know, that is making it to where marriages are not able to succeed. It's doing all different types of things to our community. And so in looking at something like this, the way that he's chosen to kind of go about things, he has made some good points, right? Some of the things that he said have been good points, which is, you know, one of the things he said, you know, black women need to marry before they carry. Now, that actually is something I agree with. I think that the solution to it is to basically prepare everybody for going into serious unions before they create families. You know, being able to go into commitments, you know, with somebody before they create a child with them. So that part I do agree with. As far as this whole gender war, men and women have been pitted against each other, specifically black men and black women, right? So there's certain things that I do agree with. I just kind of am getting the ick off the fact that he's kind of building his whole campaign around it. Like, literally his whole campaign is not about it, right? Because his whole campaign is about, yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm that nigga that y'all need to be able to represent the hoods and everything, right? Okay, I get that. But I think when you first go on his page, the first post that's pinned on there is like, black men are being victimized. I think that the fact that he's putting that in the forefront, even though it's something that I do believe, I just feel like now you are trying to exaggerate this and make it be the thing that is like, y'all should vote for me because of this. I think that a lot of the time, and I have to go here, you know what I'm saying, because it just wouldn't even be right if I didn't. I feel like in this whole gender war thing, because of the way that women have handled things, modern women, you know what I'm saying, feminists and everything like that, let's tell it like it T.I. is, okay? There's a lot of hostility that's been caused by, you know, the back and forth as it relates to that, to where it has created a whole nother type of man, right? Now, I'm gonna tell you this. If you want to talk about misogyny, if you want to talk about the patriarchy and all of that stuff, I can tell you it don't got nothing on what has been created now. Damn! It is a very catty type of man.
Well, if you don't like me, then I don't like you either.
It's like, well, if you think that you worth something, well, guess what? You not worth nothing, because I'm worth it and you not worth nothing. It's so much now made so extreme that it has made that opposite extreme as it relates to men, to where the victimization of men and putting men in a position of power and making sure that everybody else knows that men are better than everybody. It's kind of like,
you having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like you.
That now makes you seem a little bit insecure. Like you don't think that you have worth, so you need to make sure that everybody knows that you're worth it. Or you need everybody to validify that you're worth it. Now it's kind of taking it into a whole different thing. I don't know, y'all. I've been talking a whole lot in this whole thing, and this whole situation has just kind of brought me to a whole bunch of different layers. But ultimately, Rosemary is basically holding firm to the fact that she did not do this, and she also is still planning on going ahead and getting out so that she can continue her campaign. So also Kevin Farmer is continuing his campaigning as well. I have seen several of his signs up throughout the city, because I was like, oh dang, he is really like, you know, his signs are really everywhere. That's what's going on. Cincinnati, what are we doing? I mean, come on now. What the fuck are we doing? We gotta pull this all together to see what we got going on, okay? Because this is crazy.
Crazy.
Okay, our city being in the spotlight for stuff like this is not good. Okay? All right, but y'all let me know what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? Drop some dimes in the comments for me. Let me know what y'all think. And we gonna talk about this.
I don't need no negativity around me. High frequency.